So are you starting off? Who's starting?
Oh yeah, I'll start off once he gets back in.
Oh, gotcha. He's gone right now. Oh yeah, he said he had to go get his charger.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to get my lamp working for this, so that the lighting's a little bit better. Is everybody back?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
we're discussing the collage and the evaluation matrix, right? Or
Yes,
Yeah.
we're gonna do that, and then we're also going to fill out this summary. So we're all just gonna talk about this together and fill this out.
okay, for sure.
Yeah. All right. I think I'm already recording. So we can just get started. We'll just do. Everyone goes through their collage, and then everyone goes through their matrix, and then we'll end on the summary.
All right.
Sounds like
All
fun.
right. So with the collage, we had what, 5 pictures or quotes. So I had a couple of these chairs here because they all seemed really interesting to me, and then that's a lot of the things that were talked about in the lecture. Like this quote says, "Good art inspires. Good art or good art inspires, good design motivates. And a lot of these have those qualities in them in a design standpoint. And then this one is a quote from Samuel Mockbee, who also had his own lecture in his class, a lecture on him, and says, take something ordinary and elevate it to something extraordinary, which also was shown in a lot of these chairs, especially this one. I really thought this one was pretty cool. So yeah, that's basically in the collage what I got from the first couple lectures. So anyone can start sharing at any time.
I could go next.
All right, sounds good.
Oh, you're muted, bro.
Yeah, you have. I think you have to share the sound.
Yeah, that's my bad.
Oh, there you go.
I think that y'all can hear me now.
Yeah. I see you.
Sorry about that. So anyways, I included stuff like the iterative design process, which is ideation, visualization, prototyping, and implementation. Good design is innovative, functional, user-oriented, simple, clear, responsible, honest, intuitive, durable, and good for business. And then the ways of seeing is glancing, looking, exploring, experiencing, seeing, perceiving, and having an idea. So I just some of these things in to kind of, I guess, kind of give a little bit of an idea of what we're looking for in a design in terms of these chairs. Some of the chairs that I thought were a little bit of a cooler design were, I thought that the recliner was cool. Just because of the functionality of it, the fact that it can go backwards and forwards basically and have a leg rest that can either be out or that cannot be out or any varying degree of that. I thought that that was a really cool functionality. And then with the egg chair, I just thought that this one was really interestingly designed, kind of having it as like a suspended item from kind of like this like curved pole that goes around it, and then you've got it just suspended in midair. And then even the design with the whole egg shape itself is really quite interesting with the kind of exposed sides, and then there's like kind of, I guess, like a square like wooden mesh like at the back kind of that goes kind of in a grid all the way along the back. So I thought that that was really cool. So those were a couple of the designs that are just a little bit more creative, and that was mine.
Yeah, so I kind of went general with mine. I didn't really do seating areas for the pictures. I just kind of went like different concepts of design. So like here, like just basic architecture. Here's like environmental design, like aspects of environment, and then important quotes from people like Steve Jobs, because like he described that design is not just what it looks like and feels like; it's how it works. So I think that like pretty well describes the basics of design. Then here's just the basic design process as you included too, because I think that's probably one of the most important aspects to include. And then just like a bunch of different types of design. So that's just what I focus on.
My matrix. So here's mine. Let's see if we can zoom out a little. Alright, so these are most of these are chairs that are in my town. A couple of them are like at friends' houses, but yeah, I went and I took photos of all of these, and I guess I could go through. So the first one, very comfortable. Second one is like just very rough, not as comfortable. And the rest are just like average benches, 4s, 5s. This is kind of like rough, so it's a 3. Cost. This one's actually super expensive. This one's not that bad, and these are all much better. Environmental impact. They all kind of are like medium to high. And then, safety, they're all fairly safe except for the first one. I guess you could like fall out of it. Sustainability, they're all really good except for the first one, because the first one's like some plastic, but I mean, that still will last forever. Social impact, the first one's great. My friends are always talking about this chair because like it rolls around, obviously. This one's really cool too. This one's cooler for like the aesthetics. This one I ranked really high in aesthetics just because it looks really nice, especially like in a backyard. It's really like minimalist, looks good. Function, I'd say that obviously they all work pretty well as chairs. So that was basically it. Interesting points of the nature tables.
I'm looking for mine real quick. It might take me a second. Okay, so this was my chair, like my different chairs that I picked. These are in order from left to right, top to down, with left to right taking priority. So the first one is the beanbag chair. And for that one, I said it was pretty comfortable because in the times that I've been in beanbag chairs, they've been fairly comfortable. As for the cost, I actually researched it and they do cost actually a good amount. Or well, actually they don't cost that much. Sorry, I forgot that the higher numbers were less. And then environmental impact, it's made with only 2 different types of materials. So I said it had a pretty good environmental impact. Not the greatest though, but it's still a lot better than some of the other ones out there. As for safety, I mean, it's pretty easy to fall out of a beanbag chair. It is literally just one big ball, so it's kind of easy to fall out of. Sustainability, I figure that with how much these can be deformed and things like that, it would be pretty easy to kind of get these out of shape. And then also, I mean, with the material, it's kind of difficult to get like stains and like things that like people might get from like eating food on it out of that. That might be a little bit difficult. For social impact, I've always like whenever I've ever been on beanbag chairs, it's always been in a social setting and it's always positively impacted how I guess like how much I can interact with other people. If that is the social impact aspect, not sure if that's exactly what the criteria was meaning. As for function, I'd say it's all right. It's a chair, but it's not like it doesn't have a whole ton of variability with anything. Like it doesn't have any features that can be adjusted to the user's liking or anything like that. So I said that the function was about middle. And then for aesthetics, I said that it was slightly better than just some of the other chairs that are just a normal kind of just like L shape with not much more going on. As for desk chair, the comfortability, I actually looked up what was the best or what was the most comfortable type of chair. Desk chair came up a lot more than anything else. And I'm assuming that is because of all of the different adjustable features, the fact that you can bring it higher or lower, and some of them you can bring the seat back further. It's got good lumbar support. As for cost, I said that this one was a good amount like worse for cost. Like some of the ones that I found went for around 100 or something like that. As for environmental impact, it is made with metal and like the cushioning and some of the things inside of it are like the wheels are typically plastic. So there are some things that aren't as good for the environment and that can't be recycled as well. So I said that wasn't the greatest. Um, Safety, it's pretty safe. It's one of the safest chairs probably just because of how much support it has and how, I mean, compared to the beanbag chair, I mean, it's probably a lot more safe. Sustainability, I mean, if you have a desk chair that's a good desk chair, it's going to work for a while. Sustainability, um, I'd say they're pretty sustainable. You can typically use desk chairs for a while, and since everything is kind of a very well, um, I guess a very well tied down material. It's very easy to get like stains out of it and stuff like that. If like someone's like eating food on it for like a lunch break or something like that. As for social impact, I said it didn't have as great of a social impact because typically whenever you're sitting at a desk, you're just sitting there by yourself. It has great function. It's actually the best functioning chair here. And that was something that I looked up to see which types of chairs are the best. Aesthetics, I said it's about middle. It's probably actually a little bit higher than the beanbag chair. So I probably should have changed that, but um, yeah. Okay, I'm going a little bit slow on these, so I'm gonna speed it up a little bit. As for dining chairs, they're pretty comfortable, but I would say it's nowhere close to like a desk chair. Cost, they cost less typically than like desk chairs and like beanbag chairs, but I still put it at a 6 because I figured that it was around the same. Environmental impacts, well, typically whenever you're dining with other people, there's a really good environmental impact. Or wait, no, that's for social impact. My bad. For the environmental impact, this one was made with like wood and just like the upholstery, so that wasn't too big of environmental impact. And it would, I mean, you can pretty easily recycle most types of woods. So I figured that was a little bit better. Safety, they're pretty safe compared to like something like a beanbag chair. Sustainability, pretty sustainable. Social impact, good social impact. I mean, you're typically at a dining table when you're using these. Function, they function exactly how they're supposed to. There will be no issues with beanbag chairs for many years if you use them. Or wait, no, dining chairs if you use them. And for aesthetics, I said it was about mid of the line, kind of like the other ones. So as for the egg chair, the comfortability, I've never actually been in one of these chairs, but it seems like from the chain, you would be able to kind of rock back and forth. And so that would add some comfortability. Um, and you'd kind of be suspended. The cushions looked very comfortable just from the material they were made out of. And just, I mean, even the shape alone also makes it a little bit more of a playful atmosphere. So figured that would be more comfortable. As for the cost, these typically cost quite a bit. Environmental impact, I said it wasn't really as good as some of the other ones for low environmental like footprint because there is quite a bit of different materials being used. Like there's metal for the thing that is holding it up. There is just the typical pillows that are there. You've got the wood that's being used for the actual uh, egg chair design itself. So that's not as good. Safety, it's kind of safe, but once again, I mean, this can be pretty easy to fall out of. Sustainability, pretty sustainable, but not really as good as the desk chair. I mean, it would be kind of a little bit more difficult to get things out of this. Social impact, this one probably has a pretty good social impact, but I can't really see where you'd be able to set up like other chairs around it very easily since it is such kind of a big design. So I said that was a little bit less than other ones. Function, it looks like it functions exactly how it should. And then aesthetics, I thought this was one of the more cool looking ones. So foldable armchair, this one's a little bit more simple. It's exactly what you'd expect. The comfortability is probably about mid of the line. This one actually was a little bit better for cost because most foldable lawn chairs actually don't cost anything over like $30. So you can get these for pretty cheap. Environmental impact, uh, it's about mid of the line. It's not made using as many different materials, but there a lot of the materials that are used aren't very easily sustainable. And then social impact, I mean, it is used in a lot of social settings outside, and that's about it for that one. Living room chair. The living room chair is one of the ones that is typically more comfortable. That's typically something that you would use for watching TV or whenever you have to sit down for a long time. So, and especially with this design, it looks a lot more comfortable. For cost, this one actually costs quite a bit. Typically, these cost a couple $100. Environmental impact, it's about mid of the line. I think that it's got probably similar, in this design at least, probably has similar things used as the egg chair. So it's a little bit better because it probably doesn't have as much metal, but it still probably has wood. And I mean, the pillows are made from basically the same types of material. For social impact, it was pretty high because you're typically sitting with family whenever you're watching TV or something like that, but that's not always the case. And yeah, that's about it for that one. Non-foldable lawn chair. I said for comfortability, it's a little bit, it's kind of middle of the line as well. Cost, these typically actually cost a little bit more if you're looking at the wooden ones, just because they're a little bit more crafted to last. And then environmental impact, it's pretty good because it's only painted wood. It's pretty easy to reuse and recycle. Safety, these are pretty safe comparatively. Sustainability, it's got a pretty good sustainability as well, but I said that it's about middle of the line. Social impact, it's got a high social impact similar to that of the foldable lawn chair. And then, yeah, that's about it for that one. Pull chair, I said the comfortability is like a little bit worse. You can't really have any food on like foldable, or I mean on pool chairs easily. They typically cost quite a bit. So this was one of the ones that I kind of had a little bit more issues with. Environmental impact, it does use only like 2 different types of material, but still, those materials aren't very easily recyclable. Safety, I said that it's about kind of middle. It's not the best for safety. Sustainability, these will last for a good amount of time, but I mean, also it's not the really, I mean, I've seen these break before, and there are some of these chairs on this list that won't that easily. And yeah, that's about it. The social impact is pretty good because typically they're set up right next to each other. So if you have other people at a certain pool, you can typically talk to them using these chairs. As for recliners, I said that the comfortability was very high, just about as high as the desk chair, due to its features. The cost was pretty bad on these though. This is probably like the highest cost one out of all of these. As for environmental impact, it's not as good also because this does have like wood, leather, and also metal units for getting the thing to recline forward and backwards. Safety, I said this was one of the more safe ones, kind of similar to the dining, or not the dining room one, but the living room one. And then social impact, it's typically used in similar settings. So I said it's about the same, if not a little bit better. Sustainability, these are pretty sustainable chairs. It is a little bit more difficult to get things out of leather, but it's not as difficult as some of the less sustainable ones on here. And then, yeah, that's about it for that one. Rocking chair, comfortability. Typically, rocking chairs are pretty bare, so I put this as the lowest one on the list. It does have the rocking feature, but it's typically just kind of your average chair, and it typically doesn't have a whole ton of lumbar support or anything like that. As for cost, this was one of the ones that cost the least amount. You typically don't find these for more than like $20 or something like that. Environmental impact, pretty good because it's all wood with at least this version. Safety, I said they're not as safe because you're literally rocking yourself back and forward. So it's quite easy to fall off of them. That's how most people fall off of chairs in the first place. Sustainability, it's kind of mid of the line. It will probably, since it's only made from wood, there are some things that could break it pretty easily. But it's better than some of the other ones on the list. Social impact, these are about mid of the line as well. They can be used in social settings, but typically I see them typically just in individual settings. And that's about it.
All right, so for mine, I picked a bunch of different chairs from inside my house and then nearby parks and stuff like that. So I kind of just totaled everything to kind of rank which ones were the best and which ones were kind of the weakest. So in terms of like what I found to be the best ones were like the living room sofa, just because comfortability obviously is top notch, and then like in terms of safety, I mean, you don't get much safer than being on a big sofa. So, and then like social impact, like it's so easy to create conversations on a sofa, like in a living room and everything. And then function aesthetics, I also thought were like really high in that. So that was one of the better options. And then also a gaming chair, like it's surprisingly more comfortable than I thought. I used my little brother's gaming chair and I was like, wow, that's pretty comfortable. And then environmental impact, I'm not really sure like where that lies, but like safety wise, it's a pretty safe chair. And like social impact, I kind of put it like mid tier because I don't really see like people having discussions when they're in a gaming chair besides like whenever they're playing video games or whatever it is. So I kind of put it there. And then in terms of like some of the weaker ones, I thought like plastic chair kind of sucked. Like comfortability wise, it was like not really comfortable at all. And then like environmental impact, it's not great for the environment. And then like safety wise, I feel like it's a chair, it'll hold you up, but like you can fall over easily on a plastic chair compared to some of the other like stronger materials that chairs are made out of. And but in terms of function, it serves its job. But aesthetics, I rated it really weak because it's like it's just a plain plastic chair. There really isn't much to like observe about it. And then a park bench, I was surprised. Like it was a pretty comfortable chair. Obviously, like social wise, I thought that was a good one because like lots of people, you see people having discussions on park benches all the time. So I thought that there like it works. And then function wise, like people walking around use park benches all the time. So I thought it was good there. And then I think the weakest one I had was the stool because first of all, it wasn't comfortable. And then like it's not safe really, like you can easily fall forwards or backwards. And like social impact wise, like I'm not sure like you really have a discussion while sitting on a stool that often unless there are other stools around you or whatever it is. So and then aesthetics wise, I feel like it's just a stool and there's not really much to observe about it, so I kind of put it down there. And then another good option I had was the dining room chair. I thought that was really comfortable and like it was safe and it's pretty sustainable. Social impact wise, obviously when you're sitting in a dining room, like usually sitting with your family or whatever it may be, so that it was pretty good there. And then function, like it serves its purpose of being a chair somewhere you can sit down, have a conversation, eat a meal, whatever it is. And aesthetics wise, it looks pretty good, so I thought that was another good option. But that's what I had for my valuation matrix.
All right, let's look at the essay thing here. All right, so what do you guys think are a couple lessons that we got design in this one? this way it might be the same or whatever. I'll do like question 2 or something. I don't know.
I feel like one important lesson is like design isn't just like that process, but like it's also like you're providing a solution to a problem. Like when you're going to design, it's not just, oh, you're designing the product. No, you're actually like looking to solve another like solution. Like you're trying to create a solution to a problem. So I feel like that's something important that I learned when doing this. But
That's pretty good.
I feel like another thing is that you have to, one thing I learned through this is that some designs have different, I feel like, strengths over others. So as a designer, if you're trying to make the best solution for something, you have to look at a lot of different examples and see which examples have the best traits for certain things and kind of, I guess, mix those ideas together in a way that is that will get the best result.
So try to like like use, I guess, constraints kind of to your advantage to pick what you really need to make it
Yeah,
the best chair or the best design or whatever you want, whatever you're doing.
yeah. So just take the best things from different previously made designs and kind of figure out what works about the things that are currently available.
So good. Make sure you learn about that. What else? So, all right, so let's get down to other 3 things we learned about seats and seating areas.
I have one. I feel like one of the things I learned about seats and seating areas is a lot of the things that can kind of be learned from this is things that you can take from your own experiences. As one of the lectures said, a lot of time design is blending personal experiences with kind of the world you see around you and using that to make the best thing possible. So I guess a more easy way to say that would be use your feelings about different designs to evaluate what like chairs and seating areas, what about chairs and seating areas are good for different the different criteria and constraints the design needs. Well, I guess criteria would be better. Constraints would be not correct. So evaluate what you like about different designs to figure out which design or a lot of, sorry, I'm having troubles figuring this one out in a way that's easy to write. I guess when designing a chair or seating area, it is useful to rely on your own personal experiences with certain types of chairs and seating areas.
Yeah. You could say, I think that should be around 200. Yeah, more here and then.
Does anyone else have any ideas for the third one that we learned about seating areas?
Yeah, you can say like it goes past just functionality and aesthetics. You got to also observe like the environment and how it's like sustainability. Like those are important to take into like consideration rather than just focusing on how it looks or how it feels when you sit down on it.
Right. What do you guys think was the hardest part of this? Part one, I call it chapter one up here, so I'm gonna change that.
I mean, I didn't really have many troubles with this, but I'd say probably the most challenging part for me was just evaluating the different criteria and then in a way that is mostly objective. Um, Actually, not even that, just evaluating the different criteria for certain designs was something that I had to do a lot more thinking about than the other parts of this. I feel like. I don't know. What do y'all think?
How there, I agree with that. Like how there was a lot of parts of this that were subjective, so it actually makes you think a lot more about what you're actually saying, because it's kind of just asking you like, well, how do you think this relates in terms of like, social impact and stuff like that. then you actually have to think about it and really be like, well, if I was there, how would it work? So wait. So, I think we should be good. So I will get this video and then upload it to actually, well, here's our credit slide. Just 'cause of this picture at the end of the video. I think I'll just add this too when I turn it in, but so yeah, I think we should be good. I'm gonna stop recording now.